Hello everybody and welcome back to Hexarchy. Today, I'm not going to play the daily challenges, the weekly challenges, no. We're going to play a standard game with a few twists. Firstly, map size, let's put it onto large. Game length, we're going to go very long, remembering this is a relatively fast-paced 4X historical strategy game. And then for the difficulty, hardest, right? Maximum difficulty, huge map. Let's make it a random one as well, so I can't quite predict where it's going to go. Starting a new game, I will be playing as either Prussia or Japan. I've been experimenting a little bit with Prussia. Let's do Japan. Generally speaking, you can see they're an isolationist, right? Increased resource storage space and increased trade overheads. I'll also get less money from selling stuff. However, my fishing huts are great, and cities close to the capital are great too. You might have also spied a couple of cards. Of course, every civilization in this game has their own unique ability or units or some combination of those two, and Japan is no different. Japan also, alongside Prussia, one of the new civs that were just added in the December update. So let's see what this bad boy can do with its +2 hammers in every city close to the capital and +1 on fishing huts. I don't see a single ocean tile. Oh my god, what a terrible start. Okay. We'll do what we can. The game is recommending either this spot close to resources, to food, or here with a crappy tile but with a holy site. Let's do it. And desperately stretch towards a tiny little bit of ocean. I mean, I can't even use Blessings of the Sea. Settler is mostly useless this turn without a little bit of extra food, so I think I'll redraw on turn 1. Victory conditions for a large game, 200 victory points. We only have 30 turns to do it, so we're going to have to be relatively quick still. However, the turns are fairly impactful, right? I think that warriors are... Whoa, come back, buddy. I think the warriors are going to be useless, so let's just burn it. I said the warrior, thank you very much. Burn it straight away. I'm likely going to need a scout, so let's chuck it down. Okay, we see a goody hut, we see another holy site, we see some ocean. Oh, and another one over here. Couple of opportunities to get some sea action. Also up here. Okay, so my spawn was relatively crappy, but we have potential. Starting tiles, I have some mining potential. Not a huge amount of forest, a little bit of farmland too. And of course, literally nothing to fish. Let me spend my money to draw a few cards. Right, chuck some strength on him. I'm now down to 3 hammers, which is just 1 technology. Moving towards fishing gets me fishing hut. Animal husbandry for the pasture, or woodworking for the lumber. Damn, what a strange start where lumber is my best bet, but I think it is, so I'll work towards the granary and the lumber mill on this tile. Goodness gracious. However, the people love the king, so that's great. Alright, finally some firewood. That will let me get, construction for the granary. I don't have my settler. I can use my money to buy 1 science, and that will get us at least into animal husbandry. Agriculture available next turn. Granary goes down to boost the population. And let's send our little guy out. Now, I see 1 enemy border up there. I think that's Rome. I don't see anybody down here yet, so let's go have a look. Free settler? No. Free resources. 2 science! Oh yeah! Great! I don't want to fill up the deck too much with crappy cards just yet, but I probably do, actually. Sure, let's get mining into masonry for great units early, or agriculture for the hanging gardens and big cities. I think I'll do that because it combines with the granary really well. And then I'm sort of incentivized to not do this because I don't really want to fill up the deck, but I'm going to do it anyway. And we're going to save the mine too because we have 2 early potentials for mines. You'll see the dotted lines. These there go the hanging gardens. Okay, cool, that's fine. The dotted lines represent the tiles that my citizens are actually working. The game will automatically move them around, and I think I can manually do it too, so I have options. Currently it deems this tile and this tile to be the most useful ones, and I can't blame it. Let's get a settler down. Bam. This little dude is actually quite happy because it looks like no enemy is going to be able to sneak down here. So this lake should be mine. Let's have a look over the other side. Oh yeah, goody huts galore. Hello. Oh, trade is very expensive for the minute, and probably will stay that way. I'm going to burn the scout. I don't think I need a second one. Let me get a mine down on this tile for all of the hammers. And because I've got iron early, we could do a rush. A rush to units like swordsmen and samurai, metalworking. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now I have a very interesting choice. Take that guy out and free the way for this settler. Or ditch this altogether and get the goody hut. I love a goody hut. It's the Civ 5 in me. 2 science again! Okay, there's a science rush potential here, maybe into something like this. Oh yes, hello. Alright, so I use the science to get horseback riding. Horseback riding gives me my samurai. And because I'm producing 1 iron per turn from these here hills, we can actually train them at an alarming rate. Let's speed our settler down here, potentially sacrificing it should the AI decide to attack it, but I don't think it will. I'm going to try and steal this spot for myself. Train a samurai to get it online. Archers are likely going to be a waste of time. I'm not even sure if I need this lumber mill, but we'll do it. More tiles, good tiles, sure. And then mathematics and or tactics look decent. However, not quite good enough. I think I'll use my money to draw. Yeah, fishing. We're gonna need that sooner or later, right? Sure. And then we'll get hunter-gatherers for woodsmen and remove the terrain penalty on this swordsman. This guy is just gonna run around and chop like there's no tomorrow. For my last hammers this turn, I think I'll just start cycling through, try and get some decent stuff. All of this is garbage, but the winery is particularly bad for me here. 1 hammer left over. Yeah, I'll burn that timber to draw. And we'll have to keep mobilized just in case. Alright, let's hope as we move through on turn 5, the settler doesn't get decapitated by the scout next to him. Looks like he didn't. Great. However, they've settled Novgorod, a very aggressive Novgorod, which might play into my favor here. Let's duplicate that, settle Kyoto right next door. With 5 hammers to burn, I'm going to get rid of the fort because defense is not the name of the game. Send this guy down to Kyoto. He's going to fight Novgorod immediately. This scout is going to fight their scout in a 1v1 situation, but because mine was buffed, it comes out on top. And then I think we'll improve air door. Let's get a second iron mine down. And have so much iron, I'm not going to know what to do with it. Strength, I think that's overkill. Let's get the granary on Kyoto. I would like to build a farm next turn in Edo because it has no fishing huts. Completely ignoring what Japan does best. But, well, that's fine. We'll get it set up in the second city. The AI was a little bit late to the wonders there. I could have got them, maybe, if I'd tried harder. But I didn't, for I think this game is turning into an aggressive one straight away. Well, this is most interesting. I feel like this guy's in a bad spot. So let's take out that settler, stop them spreading further on our way down to Kyoto. I think I should try and spread further, so another settler in Edo is probably a good idea. As well as a pasture on these pigs. Good. Throw the extra food into Kyoto, and we're desperate for a road. Let's get the road card, save it for next turn. My deck has 20 cards. I think I'll burn charge and probably end here. Maybe loop the scout around, try and get a little bit of extra vision of... Look at all of these settlers! Oh my god! I also notice Rome already have 15 strength swordsmen online, as well as their unique. So if they choose to settle here, they're going to become a big problem for me. Speaking of problems, Novgorod likes to pump out settlers by the looks. And so my samurai is actually never going to make it to the city, because it's just constantly swatting settlers on its way down. Alright, the road is big here. I don't have stone, but connecting this up is good for trade as well as just general movement of units. I can get stuff down here fast. And I actually want to settle a city right next to this. So let's chuck that guy down that way. Next, Kyoto. Oh wait, hold on. The samurai just needs to quickly take out that. Very good. I'm still losing gold per turn, but we can probably fix that. Maybe actually with some extra resource. Let's get a pasture down on the luxuries, because happiness is also a little bit of an issue here. And I think I build an axeman. I mobilize it as well. And we're just gonna charge straight towards Novgorod. The goal here, of course, is to take it down as quickly as we can. Scout, do you want to be maybe a settler swatter up here? I think you do. Gonna try and sort of keep the very aggressive, forward-settling AI at bay for as long as I can, and take out their cities. Look at 9 combat strength. What? How even? How did you do that? The Greeks, honestly, madness. Speaking of madness, Novgorod is putting up a great defense down south there too. I'm going to have to watch that. Metalworking is the technology I was really after, so let's grab it. We'll grab the swordsmen as well. Now we have 2 fairly strong, capable melee units. Let's pump that out in Kyoto. This samurai is so weak. Takes 50% damage when attacking. Starts with Berserker. So it attacks twice, but it takes damage when attacking. I think we need to get it back to base, right? So let's pull it back into Kyoto. Get another mine down. Even more iron, oh my lord. Jeepers. I mean, it can make me money, which is great. I think we sell a little bit of the excess, even though Japan is not a great trading nation, just to try and get luxuries to boost the happiness up here so we can keep growing. Speaking of growth, I think one more settler is probably a good idea. And, yeah, chuck a bit of food in there. Slap Osaka down for city number 3, and stab that settler. Shish kebab, the AI is aggressive around here. I'll try and defend on this tile. We're likely going to take a ranged hit, unless Novgorod choose to attack the settler on their border, which I would be very tempted to do. And they did. Whew. Alrighty, welcome to turn 9. I think horsemen are garbage, let's get rid of them. Lumber mills, I don't need those anymore. Granaries are getting, you know, questionable. I think that might be my last one. However, fishing huts, finally online. Let's pump out about 1 million units into Kyoto. I might put the settler on pause. Blessings of the Sea is going to be very good. We can add a whole load of resources. Yeah, actually, let's burn the settler. I think we're done with that. This is a relatively aggressive game, so I need to lean into that aggression. Maybe with something like a warship there next turn. Alright, save that. Get a farm down in Edo. Double time is not likely to be very useful. Sell a little bit of extra iron, because that's not that useful either. Try and get the economy into the green. To try and draw a card, to try and start burning through some of the less useful items. However, all of these cards are pretty dang useful. So I'll save them for next turn. Try to grow Kyoto wherever possible. And maybe start punching Novgorod a bit too. At the very least, I'd like to move around it just a tad. Let's get the swordsman on the front line. Maybe this samurai too. Oh no, it's just our weak boy. Okay, he's just hiding out. And we'll end. This is a really tricky start, I won't lie to you. A non-fishing hut spamming Japan start on max difficulty wasn't quite what I'd envisioned when I was thinking about making this video. However, we've got a unit near their archer now. Jeepers, that was a terrible flank attack. Ah, that was a good move from me though. Okay, great. We're going to ignore this trouble. No, we can't ignore that trouble. No. Actually, I'm going to have to try and fight that. So what I need here is technology boost to get me to the end game super quickly. Probably means burning most everything else, and I definitely need a melee unit here. So, for starters, let's go for a redraw. Most of those cards aren't entirely necessary. Next up, the 1 iron samurai. Easy build. 1 iron swordsman. Easy build too. Ditch the granary. Let's get a harbor down. Ditch maneuvers. I'm gonna ditch writing as well. A bold move, but it needs to be done. Let's burn the entire bottom of the tech tree. As you'll see if I just quickly open it up here. Writing, gone. Burning all of this philosophy, all of this good stuff down here. Cut. The goal instead is going to be just to spam out stuff, right? Spam out mines, perhaps cultivation of farms, although unlikely actually any more farms, so I'm going to burn that. Axeman is too bad, burning that as well. Jeweler, potentially a good building for me to boost my luxuries, so I'll keep it. Feudalism will grab for the knight, who we will train next turn with the horses I can't prepare earlier. Hopefully there'll be some for sale next turn. God King is also a very good card. Might save that one as well. Actually, let's sell a bit of food, and then we can get God King now. No, we can't. I'm gonna need something to burn. And the workshop ain't it. Alright, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. And let's do a bit of attacking, shall we? Take out the ranged unit from the back line, even though the axeman probably perishes as a result. And let's get the double attacking samurai to clear this out. And we'll bring this swordsman in. No, we can't. This samurai is still healing. Alright, so we'll just do a little bit of a push there. Actually, they look kind of weak. Nah, that'll do. That'll do. Settler Swatter is going to swat another one. Sorry, Texaco. It's just business. It's just good business. And I'm sweating a little bit, but a little bit less than I was at the start of turn 9. I think this is okay. Himeji Castle gets built twice, so any hopes of getting victory points out of wonders this game has basically been dashed. Oof. So that guy's charging in, and Edo is dead. Oh my god. What is going on? Ah. Can I even stop that? I don't know if I can. I think we're in trouble. I think we're in big trouble. Vanguard, attack a neighboring hex. Okay. Sell some iron. Buy the horses. Knight comes out here and gets the Vanguard promotion. That lets the Knight, I believe, stab that guy. Whew! Okay. Where there's a will, there's a way. We'll get another samurai up there. Grab God King for the extra strength and bestow it on this samurai, who now has just enough strength to step in, grab that tile. Swordsman's gonna need to move in as well. This guy's weak. In fact, if I had used that charging unit to move this way, I would have been able to take that city this turn. I think we're probably done with mines. Get out of here. Warehouse, potentially useful for me for extra resource capacity or building capacity, but yeah, nah, we're gonna burn it. Sorry, warehouse, you're out. I need to draw. What have we got? Roads and mobilization. Okay, road, let's connect that up. Osaka now in. Mobilize is a good card moving forward. I just don't know if it's a good card for me here. I could mobilize the samurai and bring it down to Kyoto, I suppose. This is after all the front line. Kind of makes sense. Extra food. Let's bosh it into all of these places. Bam. And then I've got 12 extra hammers, so I might as well use them to try and just find anything that we can build. Harbors, I hate burning them, but I have to. Cultivation can occur a little bit more on this one farm. It's going to be the greatest farm in the land. And pasture, well, I've been squeezed out of its usefulness. If, however, I capture a lot of cities, it will be useful in the future. But I'm going to burn it anyway. Sorry, pastures, this is just not your day. Fishing hut, there it is. Let me keep that for next turn. Let me keep swordsman as well as warship. And another settler stab. Damn, if I was next to Texacoco, I'd be rushing this city so hard. Look at this. It's got a road going out to some random wonders. The Great Wall reduces enemy movement, so that's probably putting people off a little bit. But honestly, if I was there, I'd be straight in. However, I'm down in this absolute meat grinder. Sheesh. Alright, horseman ran off. If I can get a warship here and mobilize it, we can fire from a distance. My lack of ranged bombardment is really hurting me here. If I can clear that out, we should be able to take that pretty easily. And Edo is doing just fine. Alright, so let's enact that plan. Warship down. Draw for mobilize. And mobilize it. We're also going to give it a little bit of extra strength. And divine favor as well. Yes! Fishing huts, yup. Cultivation for the meme, sure. Probably need a couple of luxuries, so I'll buy them. And now, let's use our great big bloody boat to try and knock these guys out. Samurai, flank attack, extra damage into Novgorod. Thank you very much. We've now captured their ship, for of course, units like the catapult and the ship are captured if you move a military unit onto them. Brilliant. Swordsman down in Edo to keep it extra safe. Workshop's going to be huge for the tile gain. And the only thing that I'm concerned about now is that I don't have a pathway to better units anymore because I've burnt them all. I have architecture and that's it. Kind of a yikes. Can I do this with samurai and knights only? I reckon I probably can. I have the tools in my arsenal, it's just a little bit odd. Let's give this samurai vanguard and move it up this way. Charging into the city to defend it, sure. Fishing huts down on all possible coastal tiles, and maybe I start to build an aggressive road out of here. Because this build has strangely turned into a sort of maximum buff, samurai only, big city build. Not at all the way I had planned it to go. But it's fine. It's fine, we'll make it work. Stab that guy just to get rid of him. Hopefully no one rushes into Edo while I've got my back turned. And let's move through. So, the game is capped at 200 points. And I have almost no wonders. In fact, no wonders at all to try and boost that. My only other option is probably going to be hexes, population, and maybe the We Love You bonus. If I can manage to buy every extra luxury every turn. But I think here, it just has to be Samurai plus Knight aggressive push. And it looks like the AI's got the same move. Oh, I love it when a game turns chaotic. Okay, the lack of horses is going to be a problem as well. Do I have pasture still? No. Okay. Swordsman only? Feels odd. Swordsman plus strength plus knight is probably going to be all of the cards that I have. Let's take out the settler because it shouldn't be there. Step some extra defense into the city. The knight, of course, has charge and charged into its immediate demise. Very good. We'll keep blessing these tiles and we'll keep improving them as much as we can. So let's draw. Fishing hut down. Let's get another boat. Let's also draw until we get all of our buffs. Here they go. Buff that dude. Cultivate can go. The workshop is actually probably one of my better cards, so I'll keep that. Tempted to keep the road to continue building aggressive roads out, so I will. Vanguard was also kind of my only way to charge, so I need to keep that too. Architecture will boost my happiness and or the forge, so I'll grab it. We'll slowly sort of plod our way along and build those out as we move. Let's get luxuries for the victory points as discussed. And then I guess just attack anybody who's remotely close to me. I need to try and fight my way out of this now. Claim Novgorod for me, woohoo! And fire upon the enemy again. Divine intervention up here to try and keep the capital happy. And chuck some food in here for the growth. The road actually will be good now, but I don't think there's anything that I can discard to get it, so I'll save that for next turn. And I'm going to take the gamble that I don't need any units down here. So let's just move everything out of Osaka and try and defend this nightmare of a position that I found myself in. Turn 13, moving into 14. The game is just about halfway through. Still a few late game wonders being built. I of course can't get to them because I've burned every technological pathway possible in this kind of weird, aggressive stance. Do as I say, not as I do, and I say don't do that in long games. You probably want all of your technologies. However, I'm still quietly optimistic here. Okay, a lot of hammers, and I can do some stupid things with the forge to get even more of those. Useful resources are stone, so I'll buy that for the cheap road in between Novgorod and Kyoto. Samurai, super cheap. Another warship down for the extra strength. Forges in places with lots of population, so like Kyoto, we'll get the happiness down there too. Mobilize the samurai built this turn, and kit this one out with extra strength. We'll also give this one Vanguard if we can. We can't. Okay. Give him Vanguard. What the heck do I even want to shoot here? I need a melee unit in Kyoto, so let's bring that swordsman down there, put that one into Edo, and push this guy up on the aggression. We're going to try and take Sparta next turn. Let's bombard anything that's remotely threatening to Kyoto, so that guy probably has to go. Flank attack from our ships. Wasn't quite as impressive as I would have liked. There are too many enemies on this tile as well. However, with that guy at 5 strength, I can probably mostly ignore him. Charge at this pile of dudes. Not so hot. Really not so hot. I'm sort of forced to defend now because I don't want to lose the ships that are on this tile. But, let's do it. Let's do it. We need to defend. Okay. 10 hammers still to go, and a whole load of gold means I can draw. Something I should have done slightly earlier. These buffs, like Divine Favor, are infinitely useful, so let's buff up this guy. Get a swordsman down there. Workshops, wherever possible. Roads can go. Fishing huts, wherever possible too, right? Whew, okay, and with the magic of television and my resources spent, we move to the halfway mark. War are fairly tense, although they didn't train a unit on that tile. So Sparta will fall because of their greed. However, Novgorod is taking a beating from every angle, so that's likely to swap around to trade hands a little bit here too. I did, but only just. That's not too bad. I think I can work with that. I'm most excited about Sparta, which has been left undefended, so we can loop around, do a flank maneuver. This guy has strength berserker, so he hits twice, but he won't take the tile. That's fine. We'll grab that next turn. More warships in Kyoto, I think. And let's try and get them out of the city as much as possible. They won't be able to attack this turn, but they will be able to do it next turn. Vanguard will let them strike this turn, though, and a strike they will. Alright. Let's get a buff on our relatively weak swordsman and then use him to move out, try and get the attack ready next turn. Samurai's trained as well, probably up in Edo, buff their strength as much as we can, and then apply these generic buildings because I have just so many hammers per turn. Not enough technologies to use them. Relatively quick one, and a relatively easy one. Here, of course, I'll just close it out by applying some luxuries for their victory points, culture and border growth. I think I need dudes on slightly different tiles to one another, so I'm actually going to move the swordsman out of Kyoto just before I end. This guy, however, in Edo, he'll defend. Edo is not really in a position to go out on the aggressive right now. We're already expanding into Sparta, and I mean, this is just a bloodbath. Oh, look at this. As we move through into turn 16, these guys here, moving in and claiming my tiles. I mean, obviously we can't have that. Get out of here, buddy. And we'll move up and out of Edo and have a look at what's going on up here. Chuck a samurai down in place. This guy grabs Sparta. Brilliant. Let's get a couple of luxuries because it's a very unhappy Sparta. Now it's maximally happy. And actually, you know what? Chuck a couple into these places too to fill up their bars. And then any extras can go into the place most likely to give victory, which is Kyoto at the moment. Iron probably sells for a lot, even as Japan. Yes, it does. 6, 7, gold. Fantastic. We'll get even more victory points out of that. Hello, Sparta. Now, down to the bloodbath. This ship basically perished. I can try and resuscitate it with strength and stuff, but it ain't easy. We're just about out of fishing huts, so I will burn that very soon. All of these hammers are ultimately going to be kind of unnecessary as well, to be fair. I'll give this ship Vanguard, and we'll sail it up next door to this one. Hopefully it'll fire on it. Okay, it hit the city. That's probably fine too. Draw, 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 draw. Brilliant stuff. Any extra cards should probably be burnt at this point, but you know what? Just keep pumping out swordsmen and workshops. I'm gonna have an infinite number of swordsmen and workshops as we go. I think I will burn the forge. Buff any oceanic tiles that haven't yet been buffed within my range, maybe up there. Slap the extra food down on my boys, and then take a couple of shots. If I don't clear out these units, they will destroy me. I can't just keep throwing everything at Novgorod. Actually, speaking of, kind of weak down here, no? It should be okay. This guy's trying to sneak down here, not gonna happen. Get out of here. And maybe that'll be enough, although as I look at the bombard strength, I see 2 catapults, I see a crossbow. This army that they're attacking with, therefore, very good at weakening me, but very bad at actually taking the city. There's not enough melee strength here. They've got some much more powerful promotions than I do, because they chose to stick with their technology tree. A wise move. Good regrowth here by Edo as somebody falls. Nothing to do with me, of course. Right. Samurai, in. Mobilize. Divine favor, strength. This guy's now got 18, and if we move him up there, he will double attack this. He did not. Come on! Next turn. No horses for sale makes it very hard to train the knight, which is kind of crushing half of this strategy, really. Workshops down. Vanguard on you. And we'll bring you up for a little stab here too. There we go. Brutal, actually. Whew. Great. Alright. Let's move up out of Sparta and try and take Neapolis, because that looks relatively undefended. We'll send this samurai up there too. I'll take back this tile, I'll take back this tile, and boot them out of Edo. Their influence does not belong here. Loads of extra luxuries per turn now that my fishing huts are online. Things are starting to look up for me here. And, don't really need any of those resources. So I think I'll largely ignore them. Just keep focusing on food, growth, cities. Capture that. Great. Defend and hold as much as we can. And same with that guy. We'll sink a boat at the end of the turn too, just for good measure. I have 32 hammers available. Did I say the end of the turn? Oh, I'm sorry. I just meant the start. That's right. More samurai. More swordsmen. Let's pump strength into Novgorod. Full on encircling the enemy at every possible turn. As borders expand, the fishing huts become more useful. Maybe one of those. Maybe one of those. Alright, now we're talking. The spam strategy is in action. I was a little bit aggressive with my burn, but it's fine. Let's see what Russia can do this turn. They will be able to get the flank attack off because they're going to be attacking me from 2 tiles. So my big goal for next turn will be to try and reduce that down. I need to get rid of this flank attack bonus because it's just too much. Look at that. Wiped out all of those units that I trained. Thankfully, this army here should be able to do that. And next turn we might finally be able to keep it. Moscow has nothing in it. Kazan has almost nothing in it. So if I can get this push off within the next 10 turns or so, I should still be able to clinch the win here on this haphazard game. So, let's put it into action. First up, more units. And better units, ideally. I also need to start burning things so that I can get down to just a slightly more manageable hand. For now, let's buff Swordsman with Strength, Swordsman with Strength, get another one down in Kyoto, as well as a random workshop up there. Grab Neapolis, thank you. Send this guy in here to have a look what's... this is what I didn't want to see. And what I don't have, right? The one thing that I really needed was the musketman, but of course I was foolish. We might be able to make do, though. Mobilize that swordsman, and draw my way through this crap. Okay. Workshop, basically on any tile that doesn't look all that great. Like that one there could definitely use a workshop. Swordsman down on Kyoto. I think the warships can go now, we've probably got enough of them. Blessings of the Sea, spam it out wherever you can see, basically. Vanguard probably gets spammed out too, though it's only really useful on my swordsman. And here we have something I can't even build for myself. Hello. Great. Alright, now let's do the attack with a little bit of extra strength spam, I think. Basically, anybody who can take it should have it. Likewise with the Vanguard promotions, with the Divine Favors, everybody can get them, and my goal here is to just spam them out every turn. I don't have a lot to spend on the trade side of things. There aren't a lot of luxuries available. However, because of my fishing hut spam, I get a lot of them per turn, right? So I can actually start to spam out some victory points. Alright, with my hammers and gold spent, it's time to strike. So, making the most of the flank attack will work out really well for me. So now that that's been hit from one angle, hitting it from a second one pays off. Like this angle here. Bam. Brilliant. Okay. Next ship, I think, needs to strike the heart of the capital, and then we can push up on that, deal the flank attack, and take the city next turn. Neat. This guy should stab in here. Oh, brilliant stab. There goes the entire range back line. And now it's just this tile, which with one more charge flank attack, hopefully will be enough? Not quite. What have they got there? Catapult, Cossack, and Catapult. Okay, so the Cossack is really scary. It's their late game unit, it does extra damage, it does splash damage. The only upside is it can't take cities. I need to get this off my border now. Yesterday. The day before yesterday. It's gotta go. And so as we move through to turn 19, let's take a look and see what the Russians are gonna do here. I'm terrified that Moscow is gonna spawn, I don't know, 20 units? Okay, it looks like it didn't. If I can win this game without industrialization or currency, it's gonna be a damn miracle. Ooh, risky charge there. The old double charge into the samurai didn't pay off, and it's potentially left me with a couple of catapults that I can claim too. This guy's had a ranged attack added to him, so I'll have to step back, maybe give up that tile, and I don't know what that push is all about. But the fact that they didn't move their military units out suggests to me that they are either holding a very defensive position and baiting me with this guy, or fighting someone else. Let's have a look. Taking out a settler is always fun. I don't see them fighting anyone else there, though. Alright, well, let me spend my 51 hammers here. For this trick, I'm gonna keep spamming out Divine Favor, Vanguard, Strength, and Mobilize. And I'm just gonna sort of try and use the flank attack bonuses to my advantage. To squeeze, push my way through. Come on, lads. Couple of catapults, that's a good take. Let's move them up. More fishing huts onto this just stupendous bounty of the seas. The samurai spam and the warrior spam are awesome too. My units may not be quite as good as everyone else's, but boy oh boy, they are strong. Get up in there, all of you. Even though we're very susceptible to a flank attack, it doesn't matter. I need to push this as hard and fast as I can. This ship's gonna sail up toward Moscow. Gonna get this one out as well. Oh my god, it charged in and cleared it. Oh, I just can't quite get close enough, unfortunately. A 1 damage crossbow ain't gonna cut it either. However, as I zoom out and take a look at this push, I feel like it looks freaking awesome. Let's try and get a whole load of victory points, and then call this a day as we move through into turn 20. Oh, but first, quick capture of Neapolis as well. Sorry, Neapolis, I just spent all of my food, otherwise I would have helped you. Hey, we're growing. It's good. Oh my, as we move in, I'm getting 67 hammers per turn because I'm just forcing spam, basically buffing the sea, and then adding fishing huts, right? So the number of luxuries that I'm getting per turn is absurd as well. I've cut it down now. I wonder if I get rid of the knight. I mean, I've managed to just buy a horse, so we can actually train our first knight. Very excited. Let's get it in Sparta and buff it up. Because it's my strongest unit, I want it to just have basically every promotion available to me. The samurai spam obviously continues, and then I just draw, right? And this is the strat. Now, if you're playing this at home, hopefully you've got musketmen and the general promotion instead of the strength promotion, because you've made it to the end of your game. However, I think this goes to show that Hexarchy is remarkably flexible. Little bit of portmanteau there. Hexarchy, right? Very flexible. This build, mostly unorthodox, I'm hoping is going to win the game. You can probably hear the optimism in my voice. It's lifted up a full octave here. Let's strike this 35 attack unit because that's too good for me. March into Kazan and take the city, also rewarding me the catapult underneath. We'll fire at that gun in a fort because that's just too strong and scary, and then start to train some units in here, mobilizing the samurai from where it go. Catapult, fire on the enemy, and let's get a flank attack online to clear that tile out too. We need to continue the push down to Moscow, for Moscow is totally open. And that's a capital city. A massive city with 12 population. I just need to march up here. It's time to go full aggression. The combination of charge, flank, extra strength is paying dividends. And look at my hammers. Oh boy, we can cycle through this stupidity like twice a turn. Look at that. Spending all of my gold as I go, but that's fine. Ready for round 2 of the redeploy. Swordsman, up there, over here, strength wherever we need it. Let's get this guy to start claiming some tiles up near Orleans, and actually, we'll use this samurai to do so too. At this point, I don't need to keep units back there defending, because I have enough on the front line that there is just no way that the enemy can push. Speaking of push, oh, just out of range. Alright, we'll get the knight out of Sparta a little bit. Keep these little weakies back here just in case. Chuck Vanguard, Fishing Hut, mobilize even down. Get even more of these dudes pushing. Push, push, push. We've mobilized our way straight into that city. Oh, I love a good charge in the morning. Okay, I think things have probably escalated quickly enough this turn that I can move through the next one with a couple of extra, relatively expensive fishing hut to generate more luxuries. Oh, it's good to be luxurious. And, holy cow, it turns out spending all of your luxuries gets you a lot of points. So I've got now 34 from We Love You, that extra culture, happiness. Wonders are generating me 42, despite building none. Thank you, City Conquest. And the hexes and population have boosted me over too. It's almost a little bit sad that I won't get a chance to fully conquer the enemy next door here. But I'm really stoked with how this has gone. I suspect, unless something goes horribly wrong here, that moving through into turn 22 will mark the victory for this huge map, huge playtime, maximum enemies playthrough of Hexarchy. And I guess that's going to be the end of this run. Let's find out. Turn 22, generating 22 food and 25 extra luxuries. Bosh. It's done. Win a game without building any wonders. That is the first time I've played a standard skirmish game and not built one. Brilliant stuff. I don't often play the skirmish games at all. I tend to play the challenge modes, Hegemony, etc. But hey, that was really fun. One of the new civs in a game that I've loved for years. Put it aside for a couple of years and came back to it over the holidays. And I just can't stop playing Hexarchy. Finally, here to conclude the video, I just want to have a quick look at the Hegemon mode. I haven't played any more this week, but we are winning. Thank you so much. If you're playing Hexarchy this week of the 12th of January 2026, and you'd like to join me to try and actually win for a change, looking at the stats, we are not the most popular one. Lots of Prussians. So our penalty is a little bit lower, but we're doing really well. Brilliant stuff. All right, let's try and search that towards victory. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this maximum difficulty, maximum map size Hexarchy game. If you'd like more Hexarchy, let me know. For now, I'm going to wait 32 minutes and try today's daily challenge. I'll see you next time.